What's up, everyone? Today is the day that we are going 16.5 hours south to Georgia. Why, you ask? Power tour, baby. I am pumped up for this. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It is, if you will, the automotive pilgrimage of our era. And I think it's gonna be an absolute blast. What are we taking? This right here. This is the 1989 Toyota Supra with a supercharged V8 swapped under the hood. Why? Why not, guys? It's hot rod. So I thought to myself, what would they have done in the 70s if you're gonna hot rod an old Supra or any other Japanese car? Take the straight 6 out, put a V8 in.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
The real question is, will it make it? She is packed to the gills with stuff. This is going to be such a shoestring road trip that I have enough MREs for exactly 12 days. Half that. All right, guys, here we go. Stop was to get some coffee, and I kind of figure, I'll top up the gas, $14 worth, 93 octane is what this thing has to run. It's not going to be cheap. It's probably going to be around $800, $900 in gas. Now I do need to lean it out. Basically what we ended up having to do was we switched the entire car over to Aeroflow AN fittings. Not sponsored, but I was looking for just about the best I can get my hands on. I didn't want to have leaks down the road, things like that. I wanted this to be reliable. We're going to put that to the test here. That's the whole point in my mind. The big thing that really drove me to this car was I was getting parts for my red car that was a rotted out piece of crap. It was the 4th or 5th car I bought, Supra-wise, and I should never have bought it. I sold my blue one, which I used in high school for autocross and drag racing. That was a good car. But hey, it was baby blue. I got made fun of. So I bought the red one, and it was just a rotted out piece of crap. That's the problem with these things. They rot out something fierce. So I was at Pat Gion's, an old European Japanese speed shop on Fuller Road. Gone now, of course. But so yeah, I was going to get a part, and he had mentioned that there was a guy down on Clinton Ave, gave me the address, that had one that's just been sitting there for, as far back as he could remember. Turned out it's been sitting there for 12 years. The original owner blew the head gasket, what a surprise, and unfortunately passed away. When he passed away, his wife couldn't afford it or whatever, and just gave the title to the owner of the shop in lieu of payment. At the end of the day, it sat there for over 12 years. It took me 3 years to convince him to sell it to me. I paid the premium for it, about $1,800, which this was nearly rust-free when I bought it, and it still is. So $1,800 back then was a lot, now it's not. And back then, these things being worth virtually nothing, I immediately started modifying. This was an unmodified car. Didn't last. The plan was autocross. And over the years, she went through several engines. I do have to preference this, but I bought this around a few weeks when I started dating my now wife. So I've owned this for 14 years. It's gone through many engines. This is the first engine that I got to say really just speaks to the car. It's just so much fun now. The original goal was just to put the 1UZ in it and enjoy it. Then I had to call out another content creator for a grudge race. One caveat is you got to be the driver. Of course, like I said, I know you're going to run nitrous on it. I have some modifications I'm going to be doing to the car this year. And everything in the works already. And the only thing that ended up having an outcome for was a hilarious exchange between the two of us, in which he never actually intended of actually racing. He was trying to make me back down, and it didn't work out. And he eventually came up with a nonsense reason why he couldn't race it. So I'm very excited about, or I'm very happy I ended up doing that, because it pushed me to build the best thing I can build, and that's this. Mind you, it still has a 240,000 mile engine in it. Someday I would like to upgrade that to something that's, say, newer. A lot newer. But it's very happy. It's a very happy car.
2 hours later.
I know I have to go.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Continue on US 20 East for 1 mile.
No!
Fucking idiots. Thanks, Cardone. Shit. All right, guys, this is where we're at this point. We've had a nice several-hour ride home with AAA. Great service. They loaded it up without a problem, got it off without a problem. But in between, I did some research, and the biggest issue with these calipers that I can find is people, when they're on the 2001 Mercedes-Benz CL500, having the pins seized into the caliper and having to beat them out. And you can tell, I'll show you, I don't know how well you can see it. This one is actually heavily beaten on. So here's what I'm coming down to. Cardone's the only option that I can find. Summit Racing, that's where these are from. They sell them with Cardone. Rock Auto sells them Cardone. Everyone sells Cardone. That's the only option. I would like to find a brand new set of these at this point because these are, right? Hear me out. Cardone remanufacture these. They do probably one of two things. They probably sandblast them and then just go, here's the hardware in the box. They put all new bits and pieces in it and call it done. Again, 2 failures last year where the pins just fall out. So springtime, I'm like, we'll do the right thing. We'll put 2 brand new ones. Both fronts have been replaced. All I know is I've had 3 failures on separate brake calipers from Cardone now. These are going to kill someone. Not Brembo, not Mercedes, but Cardone. Your product is going to kill someone. This is unacceptable. If I had blown this car up on the highway because I'm putting 14 pounds of boost in it, and it's an engine with 250,000 miles on it, fine. That's hilarious. You know, I come to a stop, whatever. You need your brakes to stop you. The brakes are like, I've called everybody. Right? There's not a single person in the area. Mercedes-Benz doesn't even have them available. I cannot get replacement brake calipers. I tried doing the right thing by replacing the 2 front ones so that I would have a very safe car. And the thing that failed me is 2 new remanufactured calipers. I get it. There are companies out there that are trying to save a buck. We have manufacturing defects across the board on everything, whether it is lifters or brake calipers. You want to know what's going to kill the automotive industry? What's going to kill this hobby is the manufacturers of the industry itself. Not all of them, some of them are great. Like I've worked with Superstore.com, a lot of custom parts in here, and I've never called out a company that I've had issues with. Whether it was something that was just machined a little bit too off, they've always worked with me to get it right. I've worked with 1UZ Tech to get the water crossover tube. Worked with them to get the perfect setup on this engine so that this would be reliable. As reliable as if you were to have bought this from Toyota, except for with AN fittings because I didn't want a single leak. I put AN fittings on the coolant system so that if we put 23 pounds of boost through it and we blow a head gasket, we don't pressurize, well, if we pressurize the coolant system, it doesn't water down the track. I went above and beyond to make sure that this thing was reliable. And the failing point of this whole thing was a freaking pin. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty disheartened. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple other people, but I know so far, like I said, I will never use another Cardone part ever. Would have rather never have used one in the first place. They're not known to be the best, but they were the only option for one of those calipers. What am I going to do next? I don't know. If I can get a brand new set from Mercedes and pay brand new price, fine. We do it nice because we do it thrice. I don't know other than that. The only other option would be we upgrade to the E55 AMG 6-pot. I think they're 6-pot. They're either 6 or 8-pot Brembo brakes. I mean, this thing stops amazingly well. I drove it out to Hemmings and got it up on the lift. Went through the entire car to make sure that there wasn't a single bolt loose, because it's hard to do that in my driveway. That's 45 minutes. 45 minutes there and back, not a single problem. Drove it to a couple car shows. The only issue I had at that point was the belt was slipping too much. So I have a different belt configuration now. It doesn't slip at all. 6 months I've been preparing for Power Tour. That's why you guys haven't seen a lot of content, because you don't want to see me pounding the living snot out of AN fittings to get it on here. This thing has AN fittings literally from the fuel tank all the way forward. Every piece of this is Aeroflow, whether it's the fuel cooler that I have in here, the AN fittings for the supercharger cooler, everything, the intercooler I should say, everything money was not something that I was I mean, this is like financially irresponsible. This whole car has been. But the point of this car was initially to prove that I could build something incredible, to put a lot of the haters to bed. And the thing that failed me was Cardone. The thing that failed me is the industry standard has dropped so much that it's not even a surprise to have a brand new part fail. And I think that's the most disheartening thing at this point. This is more than a hobby for so many people. This is an absolute passion. And no matter how hard you try at times, the failing part's not even your part, your fault. Sorry for the rant, guys. I don't normally have this kind of video, but I've been really looking forward to this. And I don't know what else to tell you guys. Something's going to have to change in our industry, otherwise it's just getting more difficult. So tired of having brand new parts fail. And on that disappointing bombshell, keep your shiny side up and God bless, guys.